So let's get started with React. You can start using React directly in HTML. Typically this can be used to getting started and for testing purposes, but for creating real React application you should typically install a React environment on your computer. So more about that later in this tutorial. You can then use this Node package manager, which is included with a software package called Node.js. You can also use a build tool like Vite. Both these things will be shown later in this tutorial. And you can also use Visual Studio to create a React application. Basically here you see the foundation for a React application. So in React we use something called components. So we create and use components, which is the basic foundation for the React application. So here you see a basic example how to create a React application. Typically you need to have a startup component, you can call it my app or something, and then you need to create a root div as part of your HTML web page. So let's just so this is just some part of the code. So here you see the entire example how to get started using React inside your HTML web page without installing anything. You can just include these three content delivery network resources. So basically inside an ordinary HTML web page you include these three content delivery network packages. Then you create the specific code, React code, inside a script section, and then you create the startup component. You can call it my app or whatever you like. And then you need to create a root div as part of your body, which the React code will be displayed. And in order to display the React code in that root div tag, you need to specify these three lines of code. You need to create a container using this root div, and then you need to create a React DOM and create this root folder, and then you need to render this startup component React function, in this case called my app. So basically this is the foundation code that you need to create in order to create a basic hello world React application in this case. So let's start creating this application from scratch. I will use, as you see here, the Visual Studio Code editor and my default web browser. Either it's Microsoft Edge or the Chrome web browser. But in order to use React in production, you typically need to install Node.js and use this Node package manager. But let's start to use this setup just to learn the basics within the React environment. So then I have just created a folder here on my computer, a temporary folder, and then I created a folder called React. Of course you can call it whatever you like. Then I go to my Visual Studio Code editor in order to start a new HTML file. So then just new file, and then HTML, and then go to this folder, and then I can create an HTML file. I can call it whatever I like. I can call it React dot. I can call it my React.html or something. And then I just go to my PowerPoint to copy this foundation code that is needed to create a basic React app as part of your HTML web page. So I just paste it in like this. Sorry, I just need to copy it, paste it in like this. So now I have copied in the foundation for creating a React app in my HTML web page. I needed to include these three packages in the head section of my HTML web page. Then in the body section, I needed to create this root div. Of course, I can use another name here, but I guess the default name is root, and typically that is used in React, but you can use another name. And then I need inside this script tag here I specify type text Babel. I guess Babel is a JavaScript compiler that translate markup or programming languages into JavaScript. And React uses Babel to convert this JSX code into pure JavaScript. More about this later. But basically, so here is the startup component you need to create. Here in my case, I'll just call it my app. Of course, you can use another name here. And then here you need to define this container using document.getElementById, and here you specify root, which is the name of the root here. So then if you specify something else than root, you also need to specify the same name here. Then you create and use this React DOM to create this root part as a container, and then you need to render this startup component in the startup React component, in this case called my app, which is defined here. And then if you use another name than my app, you also need to specify another name here. So basically that's it. I just save it. I can go to my file explorer, and the file has been created here. So then basically I can just double click on it or open it in a specific web browser like Google Chrome, like this. And then actually now we have created our first React application. So here is just specify hello world. Then I can easily change the text here in the startup component function, hello world. How are you, or something, and then just click refresh here, and then you see it has been changed. Also here I can specify more HTML here inside this React component in order to create more, because here is the return. If you need to return more than one HTML tag like this, you typically need to use this parentheses like this, and then you can specify multiple lines of HTML like this. And here I can specify a paragraph as well. Paragraph. My name is Hans Petter, or something like this. So basically the return part of the React function can be split into multiple lines and multiple HTML tags, but then you need to use this parentheses, and typically we also need to use an empty div added like this, or a div like this. So a div start, a div, sorry, a div end like this. Now let's save this one and just refresh our web browser, and then you see here is the header 1 part, and here is this paragraph section like this. So in order to return multiple HTML tag, you need to, in this return, you need to use a parenthesis here, and then an empty div tag, and an end div tag like this. And between here you can add multiple HTML tags like this. Here I used header 1, and here I used a paragraph, but you can add more lines here. So basically that's the here the IntelliSense here is suggest using this one, so let's just add that one. My age is 50 or something, and then click refresh, and then it pops up here. So basically that's our first React application, and in this example we have just blended in React as part of our ordinary HTML page by using these, including these packages like this.